You know what it is, your boy TrendsetterSense. Of course, this is Rhythm is Streets. Special show, legend in the building. My good brother, one of the most influential R&B groups of our era, one of the most distinctive voices in R&B. My brother Slim, the world famous group 112, of course. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Just happy to be here. I've been doing this for a good while, and you're just seeing how the transformation of like how music is going and how everything is evolving. Just to know that you're DJ and then now you have your own podcast.
Man,
absolutely amazing.
I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you, man. Let's get into it. You know, from Cleveland Avenue.
Yep, straight from Cleveland Avenue. Born and raised here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched Cleveland Avenue grow for a long period of time, so I know everybody's used to hear about Young Thug.
Yeah.
So myself and the rest of the group of the 112 definitely grew up. Yeah.
Everybody was from around there.
Well, we were raised definitely there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's get into the beginning. I did some research on you, and you talked about your mother was a street preacher.
Yes.
Talk about that, man.
Yeah. So my mom was definitely a street preacher. So she started like, from like, it was just like humble beginnings, like, preaching the word of God, like for anybody that would listen. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times don't listen. And then she evolved into like the children, and like the children start going when we start getting into the churches, and she started really ministering. It was like children ministry.
Okay.
And so you can imagine, ever since I was like, I say 3 or 4, when I first started learning to read, you know what I'm saying? Like the Bible, church was everything is my life.
Everything.
So it's kind of crazy, me doing secular music, and I wasn't allowed to really listen to secular music. So,
Not at all.
Not at all.
So when did you like discover your purpose, like as a singer?
Well, I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but, grew up in church. So, in church,
You
gotta be in the choir. You're gonna be in the choir,
Right.
And so, one thing I really learned from church, when you get up there and it's time to like do like worship and praise, it's like once you go up here and you're about to sing the song through, you're ministering through song. It's like, man, everybody's sitting there, and church is so intimate to where before you sing one note. Everybody's like, sing, brother, sing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's this anticipation of all the people are like knowing that, their expectation of you is going to come across a certain kind of a way.
Yeah.
So, it's spiritual. So the words, that, it's supposed to feel and it's supposed to hit you. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of listened to those, like I took those elements and, that energy. And that's why you probably hear exactly what's going on. So I had to also learn that, I didn't have the most, normal voice. You know what I mean? So I didn't have the traditional voice.
Right. What was your voice? You just didn't mature enough yet from your vocal range or something like that?
Well, my dad used to say I sounded like somebody from Alvin and Chip.
Yeah.
But, as the years started going on or whatever, I started, my voice started rounding out, right?
Yeah.
So then at that particular time, I was going to my cousin's cribs, and this is when I started, hearing other forms of music.
Okay.
So
outside of
worship, gospel music.
Yeah.
So the first music I started hearing was Elder Barge.
Right.
At that time, I had a high-pitched voice. I was like, okay, oh, man. Then I started learning that I had voice control. Didn't have vibrato. I had voice control. So it went from Elder Barge, then it went to Babyface.
Woo.
And with Babyface, I learned, I was like, man, there are a lot of attributes and just tonality and how he pronounces words, where I was like really intrigued.
You know, it's so funny that you just brought up those two names because, like, I can hear the similarities respectfully.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, those are legends, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Such as yourself.
Yeah.
But now, like, when you're explaining it.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep diving into what you're saying.
So then, you know, I started listening to it, and then I started listening to like the way Babyface wrote the records, and not just for himself, but like for other artists.
Yeah.
So then that kind of made me want to get into writing. You know?
Yeah.
And then as the years went on, I watched him transcend to the artist that he's in, and then that's when I started listening to Raphael Sadiq. His voice was definitely non-traditional.
Yeah.
And you know, it was just like, wow, you know, and it started making me understand, like, okay, well, I don't have to have the churchy voice, or I don't have to have the choir voice.
I know what you're saying.
Ever since I was going through school, you know, when I was in elementary school, they didn't allow me to be in chorus.
Wow.
Said that I could sing, but my voice did not fit along with the rest of the kids. It you know, my tone stood out. So at first it used to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did that do something to your confidence?
Well, at first.
Okay.
Yes. So what I did was I started getting into an orchestra. You know, I got into strings. So the cello is my baby. You know what I'm saying? So I've been first chair cello since the 3rd grade.
Wow.
All the way to my senior year. Then I was
Wow.
in the Atlanta Youth Symphony Orchestra, and then I was in a part of like Robinson. I was in a whole bunch of all state. I was always first chair.
Wow.
So, you know, I got a lot of scholarships from there, because along with I was academically inclined. So, you know, that definitely helped.
Well, all A's?
Well, not all A's. I wish. But, you know what I mean? It was very like, yes, A's and B's.
Okay.
So, put those two together, the sound of the cello, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can make it do a lot of things, you know what I mean? And so I kind of like, I used to sing the parts out. So a lot of the music that I used to play, so let's say I was trying out for the Atlanta Youth Symphony Orchestra.
Gotcha.
See, I'm telling myself now.
Nah, go ahead, man.
But
Good stuff.
I used to sing the parts out.
Yeah.
I used to hum the parts out and sing them. That used to help me read melodies, read music. And then I would imitate it with my cello.
Wow.
And that was kind of like.
You know, something just hit me, and I don't mean to jump all over the place, but, you know, when you said that you could sing the instrument, you know, one of my favorite songs that you guys are a part of was Cupid.
Yeah.
And that's you in the beginning of the song, correctly?
I sing the whole song.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about when the harmonizing.
Oh yes, now that was all 4 of us, you know what I mean? But yes, the bass of it, yes, you hear my voice in there, because at the time, you know, and Puff had it right, 100%, 1000% right. We, you know, when we were coming out, there were a whole bunch of groups out.
Right.
And, you know, we're trying to figure out how we're going to pull ourselves, what makes us different from the next group. And at that time, you know, the ultimate groups were Boyz II Men, Jodeci, you know what I mean? And I ain't gonna front, down here in ATL, Silk.
Right.
So we were trying to distinguish ourselves. What makes us different? So I was the X factor. Even though it was 4 lead singers in the group,
right,
my voice was definitely different.
Absolutely.
And it made us stand apart from everyone else.
Gotcha.
So and it was great, because once radio and everybody else caught on to it,
yeah,
that's what made, you know, so literally program directors, DJs, everybody was looking for my tone. So if my voice wasn't in it, they're not spinning it.
We got the legendary Slim in the building, man. Let's go back to your high school days. That's when, you know, the group formed. You guys met. I was reading something where you were talking about, I can sing better than that guy. Like,
yes,
you want to dive into that real quick?
It was crazy, because I mean, I was not known for singing. So the rest of those guys, they were in chorus. Everybody knew them for singing. You know, one of them, of course, he was more into sports, but he was in chorus. And you know, me, I was grades, JRTC. Maybe if you knew that I ran cross country, but that wasn't like football or basketball. You feel me?
Yeah.
But you know, I happened to be in I think it was Spanish, and I heard him hum. I heard this guy humming, and I see Mike. You know, he was over there. You know, he was like over there listening to him. He wasn't saying anything.
Yeah.
When I saw him, I was like, for some reason, I was like, man, Slim, don't do this. You know? But something just led me to just go over there and be like, hey, you know, man, I mean, I think, you know, I think I can sound. I sound better than him. And then Mike turns around, look at me, and say, "Oh yeah, for real?" Like, he was looking at me because I wasn't in chorus.
Right.
So then he was like, "Hey, you're not in chorus and nothing like that." I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Well, I'll tell you what, we gonna see."
Right.
I was like, and then my heart was just in my throat. Then I was like, "Oh, what did I just do?"
Got yourself into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when how it was arranged from our class, like at a particular time, the bell would ring and you would go to lunch.
Right.
So you have to see it all out. You know what I'm saying? Like in lunch, everybody had their areas. And so anybody know about? Well, I went to George High. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows it is South Atlanta now. Yeah. So in the course, I mean, in the cafeteria, everybody kind of like pairs off based on their friends, who they are, their social rankings or whatever. But me,
He said social ranking.
yeah. Well, that was a nerd. You know what I'm saying? So I used to sit by myself.
Really?
Pretty much.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like sitting, and then at the time, I just came from Mays. So
Okay.
I went to Mays for my first year.
Okay.
So when I came over there, it was like, all right, I'm by myself. I'll figure it out.
Got you.
So all of a sudden, I'm about to get ready to eat my food, and all of a sudden I hear Phil, "Hey, you ready? Let's go."
On the spot.
And then he looked at me like, and I see him go outside, and I see you had the football, all the athletes over here. You had, and then they had their little circle over there, where I guess they were known for singing to the ladies, or you know what I'm saying, and they know like, when they get together, when these certain guys get together,
Yeah,
it's about to be some music.
well,
Somebody about to
that's
sing.
some pressure right there, man.
So for myself, but then at the same time, it was just like, okay, it's gonna feel just like I'm trying out for this choir.
Right.
They don't know how I sing, what my capabilities are.
Right.
So hey, man, don't take it so seriously. Hey, what's the worst can happen?
Right.
I'm a nerd, remember? So I had on my JRTC uniform. I walked over there, and one of the dudes in the group, you know what I'm saying? He was like, athlete, And as soon as they saw me walk over there, he sits there, it's like, "Who is he? Oh man, that man can't sing, man. Come on, man."
Nah.
And so I looked over at Mike and said, "Hey, Take Six?" And then he was like, "Yeah, man, we sing Take Six all the time." And then he was like, "Which one?" I said, "Mary, hey, Mary, don't you eat?" He was like, "What? We sing that all the time." "Go, we'll pick it up." And I just went, "Well, I'm singing Mary, oh Mary, don't you eat?" They started already with the harmony already. I was like, "Oh, these boys are good."
Nice.
That's I could tell in the first 3 seconds when the harmony jumped in, and then all of a sudden everybody got quiet. Yeah, everybody. And then so then as it started going, I started getting into it, and I started putting my runs into it and everything. And then you start hearing the girls, "Woo, whoa, woo," because they have never seen me, and
Yeah.
So at the end of the song, that particular guy, I then turn around and faced him. They were like, because he was laughing at me, he was in my face or whatever, and I was like,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm singing the song, and as soon as he finished, I faced him. So then I go back inside. I go back to my food's cold. I was like, some people had ate up my nuggets, whatever. So, but I sat down. I was like, oh well. And then Mike comes in. He says, "Well, practice is at 4:00, my grandma's crib.
Wow.
And I was like, well, how am I? Well, wait, we'll figure it out.
Wow.
So that's how it started.
Really? So when was the time period to the world famous audition in front of Puff?
Oh yeah, so that was like I say about so I was probably in 11th grade then.
Okay.
So yeah, so at that time, yeah, it was probably about a year and a half later.
Okay. So in between time, what y'all were just doing, like talent shows?
So we were doing talent shows. So
Yeah.
anybody knows the culture of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, talent shows were everything. So a lot of the groups, a lot of the people that were out right now, every last single one of them, named them, they're from Atlanta, they were doing talent shows.
Right.
Escape on down.
Right.
So here we go. They're representing their schools. Pride is definitely, you know what I'm saying, you know.
Nice.
So let's just say it like this. 112 never lost a...
So hold up. Were you going up with... So you saying Escape, you know, I'm just thinking, because that's about the same... That's just about the same
Well,
time
they were
period.
out. They came out before us.
Oh, they were already
So
out.
they already... So
Yeah, that's
we're
right.
not going to talk about Escape.
Right. So, but there were other...
But Tiny went to my school.
Okay.
She's from my hood.
Okay.
So she knew.
Okay. Is there
But you know what
anybody,
I'm saying?
any other groups that were out at that time
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you care to mention?
Well, Wingo and Q sung in the same group.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
But it wasn't. But
The only group-
wow.
the only
that's
group-
crazy. Just thinking about that.
Yeah, they sung in the same group.
Okay.
You know, he had to get that work too. You have
So hold
we
up.
didn't have, you know, Silk was already out.
Okay. So this is, what was the name of the group? Because it was
Forte.
Forte.
Yeah, so Forte stood for Forever en Route to Excellence.
Okay.
And you know, at that time, you know, we were like, you know, the reason why we changed it to 112 because everybody knows there's an artist named Rapping Forte.
Yeah.
See, me being, you know, on the hip hop side, I was like, you know,
Right.
Bay Area, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
No disrespect to, you know, we didn't want to, you know.
Right.
So we wanted to have our own, you know, situation. He was already popping.
Right.
So, you know, that's when the very famous, the infamous
auditioning in front of 112.
in front of 112.
Now, how did that work? We out in the parking lot?
Yeah, so we were in the parking lot. So the guy, one of the guys that used to manage us was very cool with Puff.
Okay.
At the time, Puff was trying to create. He was at the beginning stages of creating the label. So no artist was out. There was no Craig Mack or Biggie. It was none of that.
Really?
Yeah.
So hold up. This audition was before all that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it happened, I would say, months before everything stopped popping.
Wow. So were y'all already signed?
No. We were trying to get a deal. So I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So we were trying to get a deal. So I ain't front. We were really originally trying to sign to Dallas Austin. Because remember now, in Atlanta, it was
JD, Dallas, yeah.
You know, you had LaFace.
Right.
You know, how in the world we gonna get a hold of that?
Right, and Bad Boys in New York then.
Yeah, Bad Boys in New York.
Yeah.
And you know, just so happened that he was cool with him. And Puff heard a demo tape that we did with Tim and Bob.
Right.
Tim and Bob was signed with Dallas Austin at the time. So was Mario Winans.
Yeah.
And you know, so when we used to come up there from school, we used to go out there and practice all the time.
Yeah.
This guy, you know what I'm saying, he was very cool with everybody. You know what I'm saying? He was working with them and just cool with them. And they allowed us to practice and, you know, just hone our craft or whatever. And yeah, we know Dallas kept it 1,000 with us. He said, look, he had a whole bunch of projects and stuff going. He said, if I can sign y'all, but it's gonna be like a year before I sign you.
So what time period is this?
Ooh, this was like 93,
Okay.
94.
So wait, did he have Monica then?
Yes, we knew Monica. Monica was like, she was 12. She had braces. You know what I'm saying? Went to Riverdale Middle School.
Right,
at the time,
right.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
but she had the glasses, but she sounds just the way she sounds right now.
Crazy.
So we know her, but we all from the South Side.
Right,
so
right.
We all know each other.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, yeah, it was at that particular you know, when we did our, you know, we had sung for Puff.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know that did we sound the same way we sound on the tape.
Right.
But we did a record with Tim and Bob, but Dallas Austin wrote it. It was called Never Fall in Love Again. Beautiful record. Very, very beautiful record. Goodness gracious, I'm sorry.
Where is the record?
So, Tim and Bob. Hey, I know y'all got the record. They probably got the record. Dallas or Tim and Bob.
Okay.
I think Tim. I think he got that record.
Okay, I got Dallas on deck too. So
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
question.
He knows about the record.
And I got Tim coming too.
Oh, you got Tim coming?
Yeah.
He definitely knows.
Okay.
So, you know, like he'll let you know, like, a lot of who we are is because of them. So I give all credit to Tim and Bob on that. Like,
Okay.
They helped create the sound, helped us understand how to record, put harmonies, not to record records and make sure that one didn't sound like the other.
Okay.
So our whole equation with 112 was our harmonies, the backgrounds. So yeah, anybody can just go out there and just sing on, you know what I mean? But what makes you special as a group?
Right.
You're thinking we, us, and our.
Right.
How do you join, you know what I'm saying, join yourselves with one another, and there's no weak link. So that's what 112 pretty much stood for.
Okay. So, and this is, like you're saying, you're doing all these records, you get with Dallas. Dallas said, gotta wait a year. So then we have, like we said, we do the Puff situation. And you said, okay, so he signs y'all.
Yeah, so Puff signs us.
Okay.
Like we had to sing for him again, and then he just wanted to make sure that it wasn't just like, okay, we were in the moment.
Okay.
Because we were in front of 112. Now everybody knows 112. The line used to be wrapped all the way around the building. Like we were singing so crazy to where, you know, everybody had got out of line and just circled around us. It started raining and everything. It was crazy.
Yo, I'm just thinking about this. Because we're saying audition, but really, everybody was going to 112, and here these teenagers are.
We're not nowhere close to being old enough to get in that club.
Wow.
So,
and what, he was hosting the party there or something?
Yeah, he was hosting the party or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, okay, it's loud, it's cars.
It's cars and stuff like that. And
you said people getting out of line?
They getting out of line because they're hearing us sing, and they were like, woo, like,
man,
good Lord.
Did anybody film that?
Well, remember.
Man, what?
With what? We didn't have.
I know.
We're before Wi-Fi.
Oh man.
Internet.
That's documentary material.
Yeah. So unless they had one of them JVC
the
camcorders on your shoulder.
Oh
yeah.
man.
Man. Hey, yeah, man.
All right. So 112 is signed. What's next?
So we end up moving from Atlanta to New York.
Okay.
So moved to New York. We start learning the ways of New York. It was definitely different. For myself, you know, keeping it 1,000, you know, like my mom used to, you know, her being an evangelist, you know, she was like she's more Old Testament than New Testament.
Okay.
Feel me?
Okay.
So
the law of Moses.
You know, she looked at New York as more of like a Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh.
So, you know, at the time, you know, you saw those. If anybody remember New York back in the 90s, it was like, you know, you saw those buildings with the XXX, you know what I'm saying, like films and stuff like that. You saw all kind of stuff that, you know. Yeah. Atlanta, even though I'm from when Stewart Avenue was popping, you know. Well, Metropolitan.
I know about Stewart Avenue.
That was
I
the
went to
stroll,
Clark.
you know.
Yeah.
So you know, you come on down, you know what I'm saying, where Cleveland Avenue, yeah.
Nicky's, I know, yeah.
So you already know, I'm talking Purple Onion, you already know it.
Yep.
So even though, you know, you had the strolls and stuff like that, we saw stuff, but Atlanta is considered like the Bible Belt. We're in the Bible Belt. You know, New York, it was like this big place, you know. And
this your first time?
First time ever coming outside of the neighborhood.
Wow.
So, you know, so it was like, you know, coming out of the neighborhood, to get on a plane for the first time and actually going to New York, it was crazy. But you know what? It was just like I used to sit outside. We stayed on 56 and Broadway. I could literally come out of the condo, and you walk out, and the Tonight Show was right there. And I used to sit there and listen to like when that's when all the taxis, and we didn't have Uber. Yeah, all the yellow taxis, and
Right.
I used to be blowing the horns and stuff like that, and music, and then you heard just the sounds and the crack of the people, just this whole sounds.
Right.
And I used to sit out there for hours. Just sit out there and be like, wow, how is this music? How are we going to take the sound, that soulful sound that we have?
Right.
You know, because all of us were, you know, church, you know, and soulful, you know, and I was trying to figure it like how we're gonna mix it with that. And then that's when Puff, you know, at the time, you know, he was like definitely hip hop.
Right.
You hearing all these sounds and stuff. So you know the radio is different here to there. So now it's much better.
Right.
We play everything.
Right.
But everybody was pretty much onto that side. So you from the South, they play South
Right.
music.
Yep.
You in the West Coast, they play number of West Coast music. Hey, East Coast, same thing.
Right.
So East Coast, I went hearing rappers that I never heard, sounds that you never heard. I just hearing these hip hop real sounds like Smith and Weston and
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah,
And, you know what I'm saying?
yep.
These sounds was like amazing. And
Right.
then, you know, I was like, man, I wonder if you could put a melody in there and do this stuff. Well, Puff was into that. That's what he was on.
Wow.
He was on like taking hip hop sounds and then putting it on everything. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and then the melodic type situations, he was really into the 80s music.
Right.
Which now, if I remember, I told you, look at the people I used to listen to. Elder
Elder
Barge,
Barge.
that was in the 80s.
Babyface.
Babyface, that was in the 80s. And then Raphael Sadiq was later on. That was in the early 90s.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Like,
yeah,
that just made me understand and be comfortable as
Ooh.
far as me being not, you know, I can be fire and a non-traditional person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But listening to those sounds, seeing how that was gonna transcend, and then I got it first. So it just seemed like I woke up on the right side of the bed that day, and then Puff used to play tracks, samples, loops over and over again, and could not understand it at first. And then one day, just woke up
And what
and
happened?
was able to write. I remember the first record,
Oh.
The Things You Do, Gina Thompson.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? All you heard was ding, 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 ding. And for some reason, I was like, man, the things you do makes me keep
Crazy.
running to. Man.
Crazy.
Man, I remember, what you call it? I looked up like, this is yo.
Right.
And then here we go, the samples and stuff. And Puff was like, he gets it. You get it. Slim, you get it. Come on. And then he just, here we go. And then, you know, 112, like what we'll do is we'll get together. It doesn't matter who, you know what I'm saying? If one person has an idea, we'll bring everybody else into it and say, hey, check this out. And then we'll work on each other's strength. One person to have that, one person to get this, one person to, you know what I'm saying?
Wait, hold up. Rewind. The Things You Do.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all of us came together and put it together.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite
But that's one
songs,
of them.
like,
But oh yeah, our catalog is unmatched.
And this is, y'all came out around the same time, right?
Nah, they can't. So we were writing songs before we came out.
Wow.
So like we were writing for like the Isley Brothers or Pink or oh my God, like Total, and remember they came out first. We were working
did come out for
Faith and them.
Kansas. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Faith, good Lord, that's my sister right there. She used to bring us in the studio, and she's an amazing writer. Good Lord. And you know she understood where we were, you know, musically where we were, and she would allow us to come in and write with her. So then here we go. Puff was like, hey, come over here. So I'm gonna tell. So if you go into Daddy's house, right? There were different.
I've been there one time.
So you were in one time,
One
okay?
time,
So you know, so you would see that they had the one room over here, you had one room over here, then you had the production room in the back. Well, you can go back and forth. So it was like hip hop on one side, you know, you had the R&B on side, and then you had the DJ. I mean the producers, and everybody in the production room. and I used to walk from one side. So a lot of times I know people always ask me, well, how did you do that song by yourself and you was with 112, you know? And that's what it was, you know.
Wow.
So yes, I was on Shine's album. See, I was doing stuff away from 112. I didn't need, you know what I'm saying? I was like I could stand on my own.
Right,
basically.
right.
So I would do songs with artists where it'd be 112, and I could sing by myself. You know what I'm saying? So that started back then. So, yeah.
Crazy. So it's funny you talk about New York and you looking at the city, and I saw this debate on Instagram, and it was talking about greatest R&B debuts of all time.
I know we definitely in that one.
Oh, that's my whole point.
Yeah.
And Only You was one of the categories. I can't remember the other ones.
Oh yeah, so here we go. So you have Only You.
Yeah.
Then we had Come See Me. And then our third single was Cupid. So you have to understand, each album goes platinum or better, double platinum, and a triple platinum single on a double platinum album.
Talk about a debut.
So that's a debut. Yeah.
So you talk about New York, and you're talking about the Only You is Times Square.
Yes.
The video.
So look how we
Dive
did
into that.
So that's crazy. So, you know, you had Only You.
Yeah.
We dropped the original, you know, you hearing the beat.
Right.
And,
right.
you know, we had it. So that one was raw in itself.
Yeah.
But it was something really, really special.
That
especially
remix.
That remix. Because you had to understand, like, Biggie's alive.
Uh-huh.
Biggie's with us in the studio. Stevie J is playing with the bass line, you know. And it's crazy, too. I wish Stevie J was here. Because I remember he had the bass line. He started playing Before I Let Go beat. Doom, 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 doom. Oh,
I didn't even realize that. That's where that came
at
from?
First, but no, he was just
inspired
playing around,
by
just
that.
inspired.
Yeah.
And he just playing around because, you know, he can play every instrument.
Ah.
People don't know that. He's way bigger than reality TV. That man is a genius.
Wow.
So he was playing, he not playing the piano, and then like he's on the bass get the bass guitar, and then all of a sudden he changed it up. He said, nah, that's all right. Then all of a sudden he just doom, doom, doom.
Woo.
So we're in there. Look at that, Steve. They're like, this man is wild. But he's over there. So people understand, like, with Steve J, he's a wild character. Like, it's gonna be, he gonna have the bottles. He got candles everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting there like with his guitar. I said, this man is a straight rock star, man. Like, man. But he's over there and playing the thing. He was like, yo, it is. This is crazy. So Biggie, and so you just imagine, like, you know, everybody's in there at one time. And at that time, here comes Mace. We didn't know who Mace was. Mace came inside, and, you know, he was like, yo, I want to introduce myself. Yo, I just got signed to Bad Boy. Yo, I'm Mace. I'm from Harlem. You know what I'm saying? We're like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what's up? We're like, hey, man. He was like, yo, what y'all got going here? Oh, yo. And so, you know, anybody know about Mace? You know, Mace is raw. Pound for pound.
Been in the studio with Mace plenty of times.
So he starts, like, he can just flow. And the first thing comes to his mind, he says, you can hum all you want to, come all you want to, money. Then he'll stop. So everybody was like, oh, you know. I promise you, 3 minutes. So we were like, no, you get in the booth. If you're gonna do this, you're gonna start flowing or whatever, you just need to get in the booth.
Wow.
So we got him in
you guys telling him that.
We telling him, everybody. And Big, you know, we had Junior Mafia in there. It was crazy.
Oh.
They smoking us out of the studio. Man. They smoke. I mean, I don't drink or smoke, so you can imagine all like this. But yeah, we told him to get in there. He starts rapping. 3 minutes. Puff comes in there. Yo, what's going on? Yo, everybody in one room? And we were like, yeah. So then he was like, yo, who's in there? We were like, Mace. He was like, what he say? Yo, play it back. So all you heard was, you can hum all you want to. Puff was like, hold on, y'all sure about that? Man, everybody started throwing stuff. Get out of here! Man, Big, I can hear him Big now. He was like, man, yo, let the man do his thing. Yo, come back here. Man, it was crazy. Puff was like, hi. So he left, but he laid it, and
wow.
And so then to go down to Times Square, man, Big just got out of jail. literally came from jail, came right to the, came out there. Came out there. We filmed that video in an hour.
Wow.
That took an hour, and it was just like
That's a beautiful
pure
video,
energy.
man.
You know what I mean? They brought a Hummer. You know what I'm saying? When it first popped. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
here we go.
Wow. Of course, the legend Slim in the building, Rhythm and Streets. Talk about Big, man. Like, what was it like meeting
Big,
Notorious B.I.G.?
big brother.
Yeah?
He was a brother like that. One of the first ones to like really show us love. Brought us around. We were always around him. Always telling us just stuff, you know, like, you know, just stuff to like keep within ourselves. And man, the respect that that Big had for 112 was amazing. Think about how many times he references 112 in his songs.
Room 112, where the players dwell.
Yeah. 112, we're shaking. You know what I'm saying? He did all this. It's just so many joints. If you asked Big who is the best group or whatever, he would have argued you down and everything. He's like, man, they are the rawest, the best I've ever seen. Like he would always say it. And he would always say, you know, even when I was by myself, because my situation was crazy, you know. I wasn't the popularest person. I wasn't the popularest person in school or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, you get a deal, and all of a sudden, you're the man.
Wow.
I haven't done not one push-up, no nothing. Y'all know, remember, I was 123 pounds soaking wet.
Wow.
But nothing changed except a haircut.
Wow.
And I did get some earrings. You know what I'm saying? Other than that was it. And, you know, and then everybody treats you totally different. So I used to have little situations, you know what I'm saying, I was dealing with, like.
Talk about it, man. It's all good.
Yeah. So, you know, anybody could relate with a person that, you know, like, you know, you weren't the popular one, or you just weren't, you know, people didn't too much pay a lot of attention to you.
Yeah.
And then when you get put into the spotlight, I did know, like, business wise, I got to do my thing. I got to show I got to show up, show out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But on the inside, you know, I was struggling with the position. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because with that position comes a lot of jealousy, a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like unwanted, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Situations, and I'm very keen and very protective of my energy.
Got you.
So a lot of times I seem like I was an introvert.
Got you.
A lot. So people call me business-wise, call me Slim. But if you know the people that are real close to me, they call me shy.
Okay.
The reason why they call me shy is because I'm always quiet.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, so
where did the name Slim come from? Just
my mom. She said it was gonna be that or string bean because I was so skinny.
Oh.
Puff heard me, you know what I'm saying? I heard my mom call me Slim.
Okay.
And he was like, yo, you call you Slim? She was like, yeah. Like, call him Slim.
Yeah. When you were going through that process internally, like, who did you go to? Your mom, or like, was it like a mentor, or like?
Nah, well, at that time, I just say, well, personally, I was going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Cleveland Avenue, and then my family was not all the way, you know what I mean, solid as far as, you know, it was just a lot of things. Mom went through a divorce, things, you know what I'm saying? And I was by myself for a long time. So
Wow.
a lot of things, you know, I had nobody but God. I would just sit there and just be like, man, let your will be done. Well, if it's your will, let it happen. And that, and, you know, a lot of street sense, like where, you know, when you're out there and you're actually trying to like survive, and you just say, hey, my street sense wasn't, oh, I'm some drug, no, none of that. It was more like, if you know you're not supposed to be over there, don't be over there. Try to put yourself, well, I always had this thesis for myself was like, life is much bigger than your community. So a lot of times I tried to do things that was outside of Zone 3.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
So I, believe it or not, I found a lot of comfortability in me working at the movie theater. Phipps Plaza, I worked at Phipps Plaza movie theater.
Wow.
And it was crazy. Like, I used to sit there and tear tickets and stuff like that.
Right.
And I would see people, definitely, financially straight, what I mean, coming up there, you see a lot of wealthy people, and I was like, wow. Hey, what's the name of that watch? Oh, that's what you call a Rolex? Oh, okay, that's nice. Okay, that's great. Okay, cool. And then I started, learning how to hustle.
Okay.
So, anybody know about Phipps Plaza? Here we go. Don't get me, you know what I'm saying? But the Phipps Plaza, the movie theater sat on the 3rd floor. Mm-hmm. Where you bought the tickets.
Oh, right down at the bottom.
Was at the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, people used to come up there to the over there where the food court was at the 3rd.
Yeah.
Joint. Well, I started walking around like, why would you? At the time, $10 tickets. Like, boy, that junk used to be expensive. You could go to Greenbrier. You catch about $5. You know what I mean? And you already know what time it is. You want to go to the dollar movie. You know what I mean? Hey.
Yeah.
But there it was $10.
Right.
I was like, good Lord. I was like, hey, you don't have to pay $10. Why you to pay $10 there when you could come see me at $5? So I used to play the person. There was a person down there. I ain't no snitching. It was a person, and I could count how many people. I'm very good with numbers. I can count and see how many tickets being torn. I know, like, never to overcount. It's not oversold. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna mess up the number count. So
wow,
I knew how many tickets I could sell.
Wow.
For a joint. And I was making thousands.
What if it was like a real popular movie that you knew was going to like be?
So that's the good thing.
You stood away from those.
See, you don't go to those.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then what's crazy about it was Phipps Plaza at the time wasn't playing very popular movies.
Okay.
The first popping movie, like where it was just it was more diverse. Got you. Was Poetic Justice.
Okay. Wow.
Other than that, those movies were like. They're not something you probably see, like at a regular movie theater, right? Where you accustomed to. So,
right.
Yeah.
Slim, the world famous Slim's in the building. One of my favorite songs, "Sky's the Limit."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Bring me back to my CAU days.
Wow.
Talk about that moment in time.
Wow. Another amazing moment. Big had an idea.
Okay.
We get to, oh man, we gotta come by the Bad Boy office. We go up there. Big was up there, and he was like, "Yo, I got this idea in the track," and they were playing the track at the time, and it was at the Bad Boy office. They were playing the track, and I remember Big saying like, "Man, I just got it in my mind like, sky's the limit, and you can have just excuse me singing." You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But I can hear it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, I do know what you're saying. So with me, you can sing something and I can hear the track. And if it's your idea, I can literally hear it just like it's probably going to. So I can hear it. So you can sing it. But if it was meant for me, I can hear myself singing it. Right. That's how it is in my head. That's fire. So I was like, oh, this is crazy. So we got there. Now that's the good thing about 112. Like, you get together, and we know our sounds. We know how it's gonna sound. We know if you put this guy at the bottom part, we know who's gonna be next. And we know how it's gonna fill it out. Mm-hmm. And then of course, then they allow me to be me. So how I say, gotta keep pressing on. I just put that on there. And then, but it was Biggie, sky is the limit and you know it. And you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, okay. And then you put the harmonies in, Yeah. And then, boom, there you go. Wow. And then I would do my ad-libs. Wow. Talk about touring. Your first tour was with New Edition? No, Isley Brothers. Isley Brothers. That's crazy. Yes. We had some amazing touring. That's why I say our touring situation was unmatched, too. And this is off the debut project. So just imagine now, it's a big blessing that Only You was our first joint. Right. Comes out, does all this platinum, jump off the porch, right? Well, We didn't have but that song. And then you got to think, okay, the Isley Brothers. Now we're kids, okay? We're kids. The Isley Brothers at that time, they were 40 years in the game.
That's
so,
crazy.
The first 3 shows was very rough. We got up there and we'd sing our song. I think we sung that song about 5 different times. I mean, it was just like we had different ways of singing it.
Yeah.
Then what we started learning was that, you know, hey, we need to really show our talents. We really need to show, you know, first off, what makes us so special. So what we started doing was we started picking, like, okay, you know what? Slim, I'm going to sing Babyface record. One sing Brian McKnight. Mike's son, Donny Hathaway. Had another one sing Stevie Wonder. And then, you know, we would just do these songs like cover songs and stuff like that. And before you know it, they start shooting our time up higher, and you know, and we start putting direction.
Fire.
And we start learning the importance of putting an album. Putting a show together.
Right.
Just by watching the Isley Brothers.
Wow.
And when they start seeing us transcend, they would literally come to us and like, yes, you know what? You should do that too. You should do this too. You should do. Oh, it was crazy.
Wow.
So we really got a back seat of, you know, just knowledge.
Right.
You know, just key knowledge and just gems of just how to conduct yourself on and off stage. No better than starting with the Isley Brothers. And that crowd that just, I remember, like, you know, one thing about older people, they don't just jump up. It wasn't like, you know, we were used to running TRL, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
DFX over there, MTV or BET.
Yeah.
But that audience, you got to come with it. You better sing or
they're going to be staying right in them seats.
Sing.
Yeah.
You know, well, when we started getting the you know, the response that we wanted, then that was crazy.
What's your most memorable tour?
Memorable?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you like Whitney Houston,
Janet Jackson, New Edition. But you know what though? I think the most memorable is probably, I'm gonna say Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Whitney Houston. Even though each one of them were crazy, so because you know, Janet really put her guards down and really kicked it with us. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna front. The Whitney Houston tour was even more amazing. So when you think of Whitney Houston, now mind you, I couldn't even watch cable. Okay, like, so I didn't start learning about these songs until after I got the deal. You know, so you hear the song, now you're hearing The Greatest Love of All and Saving All My Love. I'm thinking like, this big diva, she doesn't want to be. I want purple M&Ms. I'm thinking like she's purple like this. I that's why I'm like, man, she's probably like, whew. But man, when I actually got a chance to meet her, she was like the cool aunt that you got.
Wow.
And she just talking just straight up like, yeah, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston, cool as hell. So at one particular time, they called us early in the morning. We were on tour. She says, hey, well, not her, but it was somebody in her camp. Hey, Whitney's having a real huge press situation. We're here in Albany, New York. I know we have a break. We're gonna do this thing. We want you to dress up in your fly attire. Like, okay, yeah, just come real fly, you know, just real fresh. And we're gonna meet downtown Albany, New York, and it's gonna be a beautiful occasion. Can't wait to see y'all there. Whitney will be there. Okay, cool. So we hurry up and put on our stuff, you know. Oh man, it was crazy. We get down there, and all of a sudden, we're looking at it was like 30 minutes, and we're like, man, anybody? All of a sudden, these vans start driving up. I'm like, man, vans. All of a sudden, they come out, Whitney Houston and the dancers with water balloons. Coming out, man, when I tell you they slinging water balloons. Man,
at y'all?
At us.
What?
It was a pure jumping. Like, it was a pure just ambush.
Wow.
A water aqua ambush.
Wow. And this was like somewhere on the road somewhere.
And we're, so it's downtown. So just imagine like a small area, like a small town. But one thing that was on our side was Toys R Us was right there. We run inside of Toys R Us. We grabbing it. So that's when the Super Soakers had just came.
Oh, okay.
I'll never forget. I had that too. The one, the big with the green big. Yeah. So we loading up. We got all our stuff, and we came out there. They're sitting out there waiting. They had like balloons and stuff. Oh, we didn't come out of there until we filled up, got all our water balloons, and when we came out, oh, what a time we had.
Wow.
Well, the next day, Whitney wanted to hang out with us, start playing cards with us, all this stuff. Did not go to bed till 6 o'clock that next morning.
Wow.
Well, she lost her voice.
So what does that mean?
Well, just imagine this. Everybody's like, people flying all around the world to come see Whitney Houston. After Albany, New York was Trenton, New Jersey. Everybody know that's where she's from. She's from Jersey. And everybody's like, she lost her voice for like 2 or 3 weeks straight. And everybody was like, oh man, what? And they had it going on. What happened? And they were going down this rabbit hole, and everybody thinking, trying to guess what. Man, it was a water balloon fight, y'all.
That's crazy, man. I remember your third album, I believe.
Yeah.
I DJ'd the Velvet Room. It was your album release party. You remember that?
Holy. Okay,
You remember that?
I actually remember that.
And I think Puff bought out the whole...
Yeah, he brought
He bought the whole
crew.
bar out.
Yeah, he went crazy.
You got to understand something.
Yeah.
I'm still at Clark. And I'm DJing the 112 Puffy. You could get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
was
was
DJ.
And that was crazy.
You remember that night?
Yes, I do definitely remember that night.
And that was when y'all dropped Peaches and Cream.
We dropped Peaches only.
Dance with
Dance
Me.
with Me.
Woo.
Yeah, It's Over Now.
Woo.
So we had back to back.
Yeah.
Back number ones. Yeah.
Peaches and Cream is that 112's biggest record to date?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's very close, you know what I'm saying? Because Cupid was right up.
Right there.
Right there.
And then right after that, that's when the transition began.
Yes.
With the Def Jam situation.
Yes, the whole situation. So, you know.
What was it? Was this a contractual thing or like?
Oh yeah. So it was nothing. It had everybody's gonna flip out, but it had nothing to do with Puff. We were signed to a production agreement that was not in our favor.
Okay, so the production agreement was through Bad Boy.
Yeah, so we were signed through an administrative deal on that production to Bad Boy. So we weren't signed directly. So we need to get off that production agreement.
Okay.
And at the time, you know, that's pretty much that what was that.
Right.
So it worked itself out.
And
then we then became the most sought after group. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we're coming off on a high. Looking at these songs, and we were nominated for Grammys and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know? And now we're free agents. Labels start coming at us. They were offering everything. Lifetime, Disney World joints.
What?
Oh, Warner was crazy. I like, man, I mean, we would have signed it to Warner. Man, we probably would have been not paying for cable for... It was just crazy. It was like it was a lot of stuff. People were trying to, like, you know, drop off Range Rovers in our crib. So it was just like, it was amazing, you know. And then I ain't gonna front, Leo. Big shout out to Leo Cohen. Flew us up there, and he was like, "Hey, look, I think that, you know, a lot of people are trying to tell y'all what to do or whatever. Well, we facilitate what people that know exactly what they're doing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And oh, by the way, here's a number. We looked at it, 8 figures.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, this sound about right.
All right. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So Def Jam ended up being the deal, but Bad Boy was still involved, right?
Yeah, so Bad Boy was definitely still involved. That was a pretty good thing right there, because it was just like, okay, you're gonna need a transition, you know, or whatever. And I think that, being honest, had we listened, followed the same situations, but, you know, certain things that.
So you.
I won't talk about it now. You know what I'm saying? In its proper place.
This the proper
place. But I just say, you know, egos would definitely cause you to miss blessings that, you know what I'm saying, you have situations. And
so you saying
even
it was
though
something that was.
It was in the group.
Oh.
And then, you know what I'm saying? And then even though, yes, the album went platinum, but we didn't have a hit single.
And this was because how many albums you did on Def Jam? Was it?
Oh, we had two.
Two, right. You talking about the first album that y'all did?
The first one was Hot and Wet.
Hot and Wet, correct.
Yeah.
It's funny, I had, speaking of your second album, I had Sean Garrett on my last episode.
Wow.
And I asked him, I said, what's one of the most memorable records that you were a part of?
He has a lot of them, too.
And he has a lot.
Yeah.
You know what record he said?
Let's say, which one? Was it If I Hit It, was it You Already Know?
You Already Know.
So here we go. Yeah, that's why I said, like, but I would love to talk about it if I say, here, like, I'm going to be cool. And it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know
Slim, it's all good, man.
But, you know, big shout out to Sean Garrett on
Yeah.
it. Like, because, you know, at the time, you know, let's just say after the, whenever a label drops 8 figures on you,
Yeah.
and you don't, you know, you don't do exactly what you're supposed to do. Yes, it went platinum, but if you spend a certain amount of money on a situation, we consider that a failure. You know what I'm
Got
saying?
you.
Platinum is, for
So-
us was like minimum wage.
So you don't feel like you already know?
No. That was on the 5th album.
That was the 5th?
That was the 5th album.
Oh.
So that's what I said.
But
Like,
that was Def Jam,
that's
correct?
Def Jam too.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah, we left on a very high note.
Got you.
So yeah, so here we go. So rest in peace, Shakir Stewart.
Shakir, R.I.P.
He was definitely involved in this situation.
Okay.
So had a very great relationship with him. Anybody you know me personally, Raider Nation. He's from Oakland. You already know what time this is.
Okay.
So we know we will have some very interesting, you know, football, you know, conversations and just talk about life in general and stuff like that. And we were trying to figure ourselves out. Def Jam was mad at us. After that 4th project, they pretty much pushed us to the side.
Okay.
Said, "Look, man, yeah, y'all went platinum, but we paid a lot of money. That it didn't even out, so they're pissed.
Yeah.
So we had to really prove ourselves. So if we went from they're not talking to us at all, not picking up the phone, to we had to prove ourselves. So Shakir came to me and said, "Hey, look, I had some conversations. I'm going to be the vice president. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to figure out this situation." So I had a conversation with Puff. Puff says that if you want to get the best out of 112, you have to put it on Slim's back, make him responsible.
Wow.
So I kind of smirked because that was true. Because what people don't know is like 112 used to have meetings, and right after that meeting, they would have the meeting with me.
Wow.
Because then they would say, "Hey, you got to make this happen." So if you notice, listen to all the singles. Name a single without Slim's voice on there. It's a lot of pressure. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end, as time went on, you just knew what it was. It was your job. I just knew that was my position. It is what it is, and I take it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Right.
Well, in this situation, here we go. Shakir says that, and I said, "All right." He said, "Well, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Yeah, you know, the label's pissed off with y'all." You know what I'm saying? And right now, it's like a single deal.
Wow.
And that's coming from the big dog, you know what I'm saying, L.A. Reid. But that was a door opening because L.A. Reid's here, you know what I'm saying? And everybody knows he looks out for his own. From Atlanta, he's going to look out for his own.
Right.
So he's giving us a shot. So here we go. All of a sudden he said, "Hey, I got this writer. His name's Sean Garrett. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I think that, you know what I mean, you definitely could, you know what I'm saying, work with, you know what I mean, y'all could work real good hand in hand." It's like, all right. So he had this beat. And then, you know what I'm saying, it was crazy. I was like, oh, man. So he was like, you know, Sean, he was like really like, man, you got to say something that's going to shock people, you know what I'm saying, to get people's attention, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not trying to play with these folks, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he was ready to go. He's trying to like make a splash off the porch. So at that time, I think he had just wrote Yeah. Yeah, he had wrote Yeah and Goodies.
So what is this, like 05-ish?
This was 04, 05.
Got you.
So, and then he was just like, the records ain't came out yet. So I heard it. He played it. And then I was like, oh, man, this is crazy. This Usher? Shoot, good Lord. Like, this record is out of here.
Right.
Like, you know, so he was like, man, we got to get one of these records, man. So we end up doing If I Hit.
Okay.
So then I call my homeboy, T.I. I said, Tip, hey, man, he was at Patchwork. Say, hey, man, I got this record. Man, you know, if you get on here, man, hey, man, this about to go. And he was like, man, hey, send the record. So I sent the record, but it was the wrong record. He hit back, was like, man, what's this, man? Come on, man, I can't even. I was like, what? Whoa. So I was like, hey, engineer, what record did you send him? It was a wrong record. It was the wrong record. And I said, no, send him the record, you know, if I, man, man, I knew it was the right record. All of a sudden, it wasn't even 10 minutes. Tip came in there. He had a 6-pack of I knew it was beer. And I was drinking. I drank that day. I was trying to be cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, and that was the first time I actually seen Tip write a rap or do a record with he doesn't write. He doesn't do
no pad or anything.
No pad or pen.
Yeah.
He's just listen. And then he was like, hey, so what you want me to do? So we just talking and we putting the record together. What you call is going crazy, you know, Sean. If I hit promise, oh, you know, he did going crazy, you know. And I'm like, and then he was like, yo, running up with that. I was like, yo, what? Hey, man, I can't say that. Man, your mama ain't here, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, you know, you got to come on, man. We got to get the streets, man. You know, streets. I'm like, you got to say it. I want to die. All right, but, you know, we did the record. Tip went on there and went freaking crazy. He was just like, listen to it. He was like, I'm ready. I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, with a pen and like, he just gonna go in there. He went in there and did the whole joint, like it was just, and then he did all the ad libs and everything. I was like, oh, this record's out of here. Gets to L.A. Reid, got a phone call from Lior.
Okay.
I didn't know he had my number. I had my phone.
Wow.
He called. He was like, oh, yo, if I hit, no, this record is crazy. Yeah, I like to imitate people.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
You're pretty good at that,
yeah,
too.
Yeah. So him, like, it was just crazy. So I had it was just a great rapport. And that record set it off, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of more was said, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be said on a proper situation. And
right.
But it was just a great relationship between myself, L.A. Reid, and then Shakir, knowing what was about to happen,
right?
Because of how things was happening as the album was put together.
So then Slim decides your solo. No, is something in between? Okay, talk to me.
Oh man, so we're gonna do this right here on this. Okay, well, freak it. All right. So we started here. You already knew it goes, you know what I'm saying, pops off, it goes platinum.
Yeah.
Album goes #1.
Yeah.
Everything's great.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh man, we back in our groove. This is it.
Okay, hey, talk to me.
You know what I'm saying? 112, we popping. 112 forever, okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you start hearing conversations about wanting to do solo projects.
Okay. Only thing that came out with me was So Fly comes out. So that's, you put yourself in.
Right.
Yeah. So
from 05 to 08.
Yes.
So
talk to me.
And between those situations, there were people that decided that they wanted to do solo projects.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with Slim. Slim never wanted to do a solo project.
Okay.
Ever. Not at all. Ever.
Got you.
So I was comfortable with being the lead singer of the #1 R&B male.
Right.
So I was like, okay. But then because of what they wanted to do, it is what it is. And after waiting, a situation happened at a overseas show.
Okay.
That definitely let me know where they stood, where I stood with them, and where and I had to think realistically.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? Because at the time, I'm the only one having kids. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, so I have bills to pay. I got responsibilities.
Okay.
So at that time, I was just holding on 112 forever.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot of things that happen in between that.
Okay.
That's just
For another day.
yeah. But
okay.
Fast forward to 2008. What I did was I kept my same crew, same guys that were with me from day one.
Gotcha.
So that's why you see Greg Browning or what I'm saying, like it's my crew, like day one guys. And we created a label. I named it after my sons, M3 Productions, and I was very blessed. The first song that comes out is so fly.
First song recorded.
But no, what was crazy? No, I'm gonna say it like this. I did have another record. I did a record. I'm probably the first mainstream artist ever to work with Gucci Mane. So I had a record called You Won first.
Okay.
Pooh Bear wrote the record. You know what I'm saying? And we got together and we was like, okay, we're gonna come with this one. And then I was still like trying to do other songs. Let's see if I can beat that, right?
Got you.
So end up going down to Orlando, and it's crazy because I always have this saying called DJs make the world go round, right? So I was very, very cool with, and I'm still very cool with all four. Like, so core DJs, a disco,
right.
Like all the, so the conventions were very popular back then, So I got front. Personally, I had lost the love of music.
Really?
I didn't want to do music.
At what part?
Well, once
Slim's career is this?
Yeah, so from 05 to 08.
Oh, that period.
That period, a lot of things happened.
Okay.
So I was like going through a state of depression, this, that, you know what I'm saying, things. I was like, man, like not a group, just hearing certain things, you know what I'm saying, and it really was destroying me, like personally. Yeah. But music, through music, helped me get to a certain situation.
Got you.
So I ran into some guys. Big shout out to Greg Street, who who ran into Playing Skills. And, you know what I'm saying? They're huge now. You know
Right. Yeah.
On the Latino side. They are.
Yeah.
But they're like my brothers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they weren't that, they were kids then,
Okay.
Well, Greg Street gave them my number. And I got up with them. And from there, I started working, I started writing on, with them on Latino like genres and stuff like that.
Wow.
Now I got a chance to meet Pitbull.
Wow.
I worked with Frankie J. You know what I'm saying? With just stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And started trying to get this whole love. So now when I got with the crew, my team, they start sending me to these conventions. You know what I mean? I'm start hearing new music out because I'm more of an introvert. And I was like, but now hearing everything, and I had this record called You Won, and then I want to say this one. It's kind of crazy, but I felt kind of bad. But I ran into C Murder, so it was the F the Mother.
Yeah.
So it was that beat. Well, I didn't know that C Murder owns the.
Right.
He owns the rights to the record. Like, so he came to one of the joints, heard it on a mixtape, and was like, "Hey, how you gonna do a record without having me on there? Even you using my record, you know?"
Right.
So I was like, "Shoot, come on!"
Right.
I think he had on an ankle bracelet.
Wow.
At that time he did that. Please don't let that be the reason why this man. I don't know, but he definitely had an ankle bracelet. I'm like, how are you doing this?
Right.
But he did it for me.
Wow.
And he jumped in, so I had Gucci Mane and whatever. But as I started going, I run into Tony Neal.
Okay.
Run into Tony Neal. Tony Neal was like, hey, hey, let me hear the records. So at the time, when I went to Orlando first, right before I went there, and I did a record, I met these guys called Odds and Ends. They used to work for the radio station at 102, Magic 102.5, I think, or 102.7. But they were working there, and I met Ricky P, and I met a lot of, and you know what I'm saying, DJ Nasty.
Yeah. Shout out Nasty.
Nasty, you know what I'm saying, would be the best.
Yeah.
So I was in that crew there.
Got you.
Got with Odds and Ends, Jay and Nino, oh, this was crazy. Like, we're in there listening to beats. So it was this beat. They was on the rap side, you know. I'm like, man, I want to hear the hip hop side, you know. So they were like, yeah, man, we got this record, you know what I'm saying? We about to send it to Currency, you know what I mean? I was like, well, let me hear it. I'm like, the beat. Dun, 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 dun. I was like, hold up. And then here we go. We get together. Do So Fly. I didn't have but the first verse and the hook. Come back up. I went to a Coalition DJs joint. And my homeboy, DJ Hurricane, you know what I'm saying? DJ for the Beastie Boy. He's part of my crew.
Okay.
I usually always run stuff by him. I'm like, man. He was like, man, you need to play that. You know, I'm going to bring you to the Coalition DJs. But, man, Slim, you might got something. Play the record. Everybody gets quiet.
So what you thinking?
No, I'm thinking the worst. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
right.
Like, so, and then all of a sudden, one by one, every last one was coming in like, Slim, that's the record. And then Hurricane was like, you need to take your butt right back down there to, you know what I'm saying, Orlando, and you need to, don't come back up until that record is finished. I don't care what you do.
Right.
So I literally got it back in my car, drove back to Orlando, and got with Jay and Nino.
Hold up, you only had the hook?
The hook and a verse. I was like, you know, I got these records.
Right,
you know,
right.
I got this one record. I just want to see how y'all like it, and you know, I mean, just tell me. You know, don't if you don't like it, don't say boo me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just come to me and just tell me. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Yeah.
Man. So Ray and all of them us was like,
wow.
They came up there and that was like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, that sounds like magic.
Right.
You need to finish this record.
Yeah.
Yep. So her and them told me to go back down there, finish the record. I came back, and then that's when I went to the core DJs joint, and oh man. I can't remember because I went to a lot of them.
Right.
But I went in and Tony Neal, like, listen, he said, I can't believe your skinny butt but got one. he was like, man, you really got one. I was like,
crazy.
Me for real?
Yeah.
He was like, man, I ain't gonna say it no more, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me the darn record, man, and make sure and give me a R&B version and give me this version. I was like, huh? And I need you to do it. And when I tell you, you hear me? I was like, okay.
Wow.
So I got the record, and that's why I give him a lot of that credit, like actually breaking the record,
right?
Putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say DJs make the world go round. Because even when it was charting before I got a deal.
Really?
Yeah, and it was crazy. And you know, now Todd and them and
Asylum, right?
Asylum. Yeah. Todd, that's a homie. Todd and.
And Joey.
That's yeah.
Yep.
Joey Manda. Joey Manda.
Yeah.
Like, had a bet actually. They were like, I don't think this is it. We think you can get a better one. You know. Tony Neal was like, man, them rich boys they in they offices. They ain't out here in the street. We out here in the street.
Right.
Go back and tell them I see him in 5 weeks. Man, that bad boy was like top 20.
I remember
5
that.
weeks. That much jumped.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, that was independent.
Wow.
So then that's when I started, and I ain't gonna front, and keeping it 1,000. That was the most money I probably made. In that era right there, that was the most money. You could have took any two,
all
112, 112, yeah. You could have took any one or 2 or 112's best projects, put them together, including touring.
Wow. Come on, bro.
Put them together.
Come on.
And it still didn't catch.
Come on, bro.
That was crazy.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, like, so I understand, like, some of those rappers, like, now I see, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I totally get it. So it was like, and I learned a lot, too. I learned a lot.
I remember you hustling that record. You hustled that record like a rapper.
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I remember you moving that record around.
Big shouts out to J1 over, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out J1.
J1 over there at Pandora. He was over there at 107.9.
Right. Yep.
Man, I knew he was special off the porch then too. I wanted him to work for the crew.
Wow.
There was a lot of people. Big shout out to Mike Jackson, you know what I'm saying, over there at the publishing, you know what I'm saying? He used to come down there and come over there to the basement when I used to be in there. And, you know, so anybody knows me, So I have a hip hop side to me. So I'm very R&B.
Yeah.
But the hip hop side, I have a lot of rapper friends. You know what I'm saying? So so at that time, I used to have like 8 Ball, MJG. You know what I'm saying? We were kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd be in there just. I used to watch their grind. I used to
Right.
like watch certain
Gotcha.
rappers grind.
Gotcha.
I was also around Gucci Man, like hardcore. We was like kicking it.
Right.
And
Right.
people who didn't understand the relationship. It was crazy.
Right.
Like I definitely kicked it with him. Went to the. I mean, he had me to come to Gate over there off of Panola.
The Gate.
I'm scared of my mind.
The Gate.
And then I told him, well, now you got to come with me.
Yeah.
And I brought him to the Velvet Room, and I never forget. Alex was pissed at me because he had, they at that time Gucci Man wasn't dressing. His crew was like,
Right.
yeah. So but it was just like I used to watch rappers grind. You know what I'm saying, and just be like, get it. Like it was just like, man, how they would do it. And it was just like getting hot. Don't wait for the label to tell you. You make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember having a great even conversation with like Gucci Man and people that really influenced me was like E40 and Slim Thugger and and rest in peace Pimp C. That was my boy.
Yeah.
And they used to tell me how to grind, how to get the records, how to, pinpoint it, take advantage of, know what your strength and your weaknesses are and capitalize on your strengths, So that's what I did.
Wow.
And I had my team.
Yeah.
And they were each one of them were very, very intricate and very good at what they did. We never stepped on each other's toes. And then,
Crazy. What are your thoughts on R&B today?
Well, you know what? That's crazy. I riding over here, so I have an artist. His
Okay.
name is Naquan. I call him NR. Very, very encouraging to hear younger artists getting it. It seemed like a full circle now. They're actually getting back into like live instruments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The producers that I've been working with, because he writes with everybody.
Right.
I get a chance to touch certain artists, whether they're seen and they're popping, like you know what I'm saying, like between I Keys and Mike Will, and you know what I'm saying, and then you got Mars and all,
right,
and then there are other ones that that they're next, you know what I'm saying, that worked on my project that I'm working on now, and it's just like it's so encouraging and so refreshing to know like they get it, like what sounds, and don't be afraid of musical elements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I listen to like especially the female artists like from Scissors to Coco Jones,
right,
Ella May to
you
know what I'm saying, and
Summer Walker.
It's Summer Walker.
Yeah.
Her EP is amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And even we got the guys, you know what I mean? Like, I just work with a guy named Reggie Beckton. That's absolutely amazing. Like, it's crazy. I just work with a lot of them. Like, and a lot of them are writers. So they're writers end up being artists. So I look at them as artists like NR. He's an artist that can really, really write.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And and it's like I'm always a student of the game. Like I've been doing it for like 28 years, but you still learn and you still appreciate the talent.
So obviously the love has been re-sparked. Your single you currently have.
Yes.
Gotta Have Faith.
Gotta have faith. Yes.
Featuring Faith.
Featuring Faith. Yes.
And Eric Bellinger.
And Eric Bellinger. That's
Talk about this song.
So, it all started with my
which
art.
is crazy, by the way.
Which is crazy.
You got another one.
This is crazy. I might have got another one here. I got another one. So it all started with my artist, right? So he's telling me, so this project has been going before the pandemic. Okay. So when the pandemic pops, I had no other choice but to we can't do no shows, So got back into the music and stuff like that. I go to QC's joint or whatever. I think it was QC. I think Guitar Boy at the time. That's a producer.
Yeah.
He was working. He was doing something. with we were working with Leighton.
Leighton Green.
We were working with Leighton Green.
Yeah.
And then I meet this guy. You know, he comes up. He said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna work with you." So all right, cool. All right, you know what?
Yeah.
I remember that because I remember Luda saying that. I'm gonna work with y'all. You know what I'm saying? He was working at 107.9.
Yeah.
And we ended up
I remember
working with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up, we made sure that happened.
Yeah.
I'm usually like that. So now, same thing happens. So I kept his number. I was working with an artist. I said, you know what? This might be a great time. I called him up. Hey, I'm at Patchwork. You know what I'm saying? Hey, come up here and help me write this record, right? So, cool. We've been working in the studio and stuff like that. He says he wants to, one of the artists that he always wanted to work with and writers he wanted to work with and he just respects was Eric Bellinger. I said, oh, for real? Wow, okay. You know I am. I'm like, man, I'm cool with everybody. So Eric Bellinger, he hits me. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, I'm about to do a writing session. I'm coming down to ATL. What's going on? I was like, for real? Cool. Yeah, pull up on me, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll do the records. I got some writers and stuff. I said, all right. So I called NR up, say, hey, man, meet me at my crib. So he come on there. I tell you, just get in the car. Drive up there, Eric Bellinger. We get there. He has amazing writers, you know what I'm saying? B Script, B Hess, all these guys, like, you know what I'm saying? Guys in there. We're just talking and just tracks going. He just had an Airbnb. It was crazy Airbnb. And, you know, we just in the back, in the yard, and, you know what I'm saying? Just thinking of just all kinds of stuff and just musically, it was just an amazing musical time, like just talking and just letting the tracks play. And that's how the records start going. So I actually did 2 or 3 records, but that record really stood out. I told NR, I said, man, for some reason I think this record should come out first. So Eric, man, he said, hey, man, anything that you're involved with, man, hey, don't even hesitate. Hit me. I'm with you. Whatever we need to make it happen. So I said, man, it's missing something. Man, you know what? Listen to the track. This is Faith. This is Faith's song. Man, I'm about to call Faith, man. Now Faith, you know, hey, she's over on the West Coast. I was like, man, I'm gonna call up, you know, that's my sis. So I was like, hey sis, I got this record, right? She was like, man, how that much sound, Slim? I was like, no, I'm telling you, I wouldn't even waste your time, Faith. You know what I'm saying? You better send it over here. That better sound good too. I said, all right. But she's always working with me on my projects and stuff anyway, so she always messing with. So NR got one of his friends to write her part, you know what I'm saying? Or sing the part. I don't know, they both wrote it.
Right.
And then they sent it over, we sent it over to her. She calls back and say, oh my good, that's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
I'm going to the studio right now.
Wow.
Don't worry about nothing. I pay for it. Don't even worry about it. I got it.
Right.
So she did the whole thing, sent it back, and then that's when the magic to see everything come together and put it all together, you know what I'm saying, man, and the coin, just put it together and it just sounded like magic.
Yeah.
It was like it's meant.
It's magical. Yeah, it's an amazing record, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. As soon as I dropped my ears, so I was like, ooh, okay.
You know what's crazy about it too is like I played it when it was raw, right? So I got invited to that's when Kanye was doing his album. He came down here, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was playing like I ran into Eugene Brooks.
Yeah,
You know what
okay.
I'm saying? You know,
Yeah,
your dad,
Eugene,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, man, I got this record I'm gonna play you. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 records. I'm gonna play you the record, you know. So he was like, man, you know I got that ear, man. You know. So he listening, and time gotta have fake. He said, oh, play this again. So I played again. He was like, they didn't have Faith's part on there. It was just me and Eric.
Right.
So he was like, this is the record. And when y'all do it and when you fix this, I'm gonna need you to call me and make sure. So I gotta call him. I gotta call him and send it to him now, you know, because it drops on the 26th.
Right.
So of course, you know, this is before the 26th. So I'm trying to get it all together, trying to get it. So yeah, it was just like a lot of people were just like, oh my God. It was the same. It's the same feel as So Fly. Like everybody was saying, like,
Yeah.
this record is crazy.
That's dope, man. That's real dope. Will we ever get a chance to see 112, the original 112?
Well, I would say it like this: the original is the only time it's not original if you see different people in there.
Right.
So right now, you know, I could have easily had put two other people in there,
Right.
but
You know what I mean?
oh, I know.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm answering it like this. Despite of the personal stuff that we got going on, as far as my respect is concerned, it doesn't matter who that person is, and trust me when I tell you, the people that wanted to be in 112, there were people that were already like already set, musically set.
Right.
But I guess that was something that they wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a musical itch they wanted, you know.
Right.
And but I just felt like no matter who it was, you know, as far as the legacy, and that's what I'm all about.
Right.
As far as the legacy is concerned, no matter what personal stuff is going on, the sounds of those records are Q Mike Slim to Run. Like, so even if you don't see those faces ever again, it's just like the Temptations or the Drifters or any other records that, you know, classic groups that are, you know, that you know, that have passed away. Their records last forever. So in that case,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
But one thing I did learn by coming back and being in the group, and then that same thing of what happened the first time happened the second time, that is business. And you can't force people to be somewhere and their hearts to be somewhere they don't want to be. Understand this. Each person is where they want to be. Let me look at the camera. Each person, the people that don't know, y'all think y'all know. But that was a conversation that was had with all four of us. We know where all four stood. Each member is where they want to be. So you have to respect, you know what I'm saying, respect that situation. And let me just say it like this. Being in a group is just like a relationship. It's just like being in a marriage, right? And when that magic or something happens and something detrimental happens or whatever, for whatever reason you all break up, it's kind of hard to then, you know, for somebody to say, hey, well, you know, we feel like y'all should get back together because we just like how y'all look, you know,
Gotcha.
you look standing next to each other.
Gotcha.
But, you know, I protect like I said at the beginning of this joint, I protect my energy. Nothing means more than the energies of, you know what I mean, positive energy and just positivity. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine you trying to get back with your ex because other people want you to stand next to him because they feel like you look better standing next to each other. Y'all don't care nothing about the business side, probably don't care about where it ends up. It's business. And, you know, and with 112, it's different from any other group. No man bigger than the brand. That would include myself, right? I own the brand. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are people who argue would say I'm the voice of it, the sound, whatever, right? But the brand itself is what it is, right? So, I would just tell people to like really cherish what we gave you, like, you know what I'm saying? And just know that, you know, a lot of things, like, it's all in God's will, right? A lot of things, you know, like I said, just imagine being in a relationship or marriage and then you break up. In our case, we got divorced twice. And then, you know, people on the outside trying to tell you that you still should be with each other regardless. And, you know, 112 is not like any other group. You can't just put people, we weren't put together. We actually grew up with each other. You know what I'm saying? So don't compare us to a group that was put together. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not it. the feel, if you know 112, the actual magic of the group was the harmony. A lot of that was tied together with the love of each other. True, unadulterated, agape love with each other. Loving what we do, thinking that we were all on the same page. Once that breaks, you're not going to get the same thing. You're going to get 4 factions of cats that are very talented,
Right.
but it doesn't feel the same. And then what you're going to do, people are going to judge us because we don't feel the same. Probably like that last project.
Gotcha.
What was for some reason named Q, Mike, Slim, Deron. It didn't feel like 112. So the 6th album I can't listen to. You see what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of things that y'all don't know that was going on.
Right.
That, you know what I'm saying, in its proper time will be definitely shown. But
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But just know that, whenever you see magic, we were very blessed to go on a run. And very few people can say you had multiple multi-platinum albums, you know what I'm saying? Some people, even the best ones, their album ends in 3. Even, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, it was like, with us, we had 5. You know what I'm saying? Out of 6. That last one shouldn't have never happened. I wish my manager was sitting there because, you know what I'm saying, but it just, but as far as the legacy is concerned, 112's legacy is unmatched. And, when we go in history with the star on the Walk of Fame, and with God's graces, the induction into the Hall of Fame, it's not about individuals. That's why it was a blessing that we were named a number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just 112.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, it's in the right hands with me. I don't have no egos, I'm not trying, there's none of that. When it comes out, whatever you see and it's praised and you get the flowers, everybody get their flowers. Nobody's getting cheated out there. There's none of that. Like, it's what it is. And it's just, for what it is right now, it's a business.
Right.
And fortunately for ourselves, we had already, the 112 brand, because of my team, raised it to a situation where, right now, we touring make more money than we ever have.
Right.
With our 4, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doubled everything's that because all we had to do was adjust, adapt. That's what the name of the game is. You know what I'm saying? So I know I probably disappointed a lot of really hardcore. Y'all probably don't like what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But it was easy for me to just go to Hawaii and go to my crib in Hawaii. But if I did that, then everybody would have been looking at and saying, where are they? You know what I'm saying? That's why I came back. I'm the person that didn't come back for money. You know what I'm saying? It was my truly love for what people said that they wanted to see, and you know what I'm saying, and you know what I mean. But sometimes when you get your heart broke, how many times you get your heart broke? You feel me?
Right. Slim, I really appreciate you for your honesty and your conversation, for taking the time to sharing that information.
Oh, yeah.
Right here. Gotta Have Faith, featuring Faith, Eric Bellinger.
Absolutely amazing record. It will be dropping May 26th, and it'll be on all platforms. And this right here, this is for the love of music right here. Big shouts out to everybody that's involved. I want to give a personal shout out to you, everybody, everybody from the sound of my voice. Thank you for supporting us for 28 years. 112, you know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw. You know what I'm saying? Good, bad, or ugly. You know what I'm saying? 38 million records. We got the Grammy. We got all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And, y'all right with us. You know what I'm saying? And I know you won't see none of our situations on reality shows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think our type of stuff is for a book or a movie or something like that. And the only reason why I don't entertain that is because the book is still being written.
There it is. I appreciate you The legend.
Yes, sir.
You see what it is, the legend Slim, of course, TrendsetterSense. This is Rhythm and Streets.
Trendsetter.